Well, good afternoon. I've picked up this Technico Aristocrat from about 1947. They were built in Sydney. Aristocrat was their name of their domestic radios. I think during the war they teamed up with Bendix in the US to produce military equipment. And they merged with Pi in about 1953, I think. This one's a Bakelite, but it's been painted, factory painted, and the paint's coming off, as you can see. But with painted Bakelite, if you take the paint off, the Bakelite underneath is usually pretty good. In fact, it's as good as new. Unfortunately, this one's got some rub areas here, and I'm not sure if they're going to come out or not. Looks like something's been sitting on there and rubbing like in a car or something. So I'm going to see if they'll polish out. If they won't, I'll have to repaint it. If I can take it back to Bakelite, that'll be good too. The dial looks good. It's all clear, there's nothing missing, so I'm pretty happy with that. And even the grill cloth, I guess that's the original. Looks like a rattan. And the back looks pretty clean too. It's not too bad, a bit of rust on it, but generally looks pretty good. So let's get it out of the case and see what's inside. This is almost standard for this period. This valve lineup is a 5x3, 6v6, 6b6, 6u7 and a 6a8. There you go, nice and clean. I think that'll come up alright. Just wipe that up. Yeah, it's just dust. So it hasn't got a lot of corrosion, bit of corrosion on that. But I'll show you how I'll get rid of that. That'll come up like new. It's got a permanent magnet speaker. Apparently they came in electromagnet or permanent magnet, and it probably just depended on what they could get their hands on at the time. It wasn't that long after the war, a couple of years after the war, so still lots of shortages around. Looks like I have a tone control, volume control, but one way or the other it'll be volume control, I don't know. And for some reason that's not. Wow, that's stuck. Well, that is absolutely frozen on there. There's a little, and that's gone. It's got something like grease or something. I don't know what it's got on it. I have to look at that. Gonna have to clean that. I'll flip it over. So immediately I can see the transformers being overheated. Well, it's got wax coming out the bottom of it. So whether it's done any permanent damage, I don't know. We'll have to work that one out. There's the old paper caps here. The electrodes are still connected, so nobody's done any work on it. Oh, wait, so that one's disconnected. Oh, I see. Yeah, of course. It's got these newer caps in here. I think that's an original. That's a new one, or newish. The capacitors have got Technico written on them. I don't know if they made their own or rebranded somebody else's. Right. Well, that transformer is going to be an issue. I can see it. It looks a pretty standard setup transformer, so I might have something out the back there. I'll have to have a look. But we can test it first and see what it's up to. I've put the chassis in the work frame here. The first thing I need to do is check this transformer. That's a lot of wax. Don't like the look of that. Still, it's good wax for other projects. So just check it for shorts to ground, which I'm only using a multimeter, so it's not putting any pressure on it, of course. So it doesn't mean it isn't shorting the ground under a bit of load. Check it for continuity. So that's 59 ohms, I think. So 2 and 8 are the heaters on these 5x3s. So that's 8. That's number 2. So that's checking our 5 volts. It's okay. I think it's okay. There's the 2 plates, or the secondary. Oh, let's see what we got there. We got 0.443 k ohms. Now I think that blue wire is the centre tap because it's going off to the negative side of this capacitor here. So I'll just check between the plates. Let's see what we got. So it should have 240 each side or so. That's 210 on one side. 233 on the other, so that's quite a spread. Alright, I've got my multimeter on AC. I've put a temporary power supply to the transformer. I've connected the multimeter to the centre tap. Now I should be able to just, when I turn it on, I should be able to read the two secondaries coming out and just see what happens. That's assuming it doesn't just blow up. So I'm going through an isolation transformer, the Variac of course, and I've got a dim bulb in the circuit. This will come up here. We should be able to read what we're going to get. And there's the watts there, we need to keep an eye on that. Alright, let's see what happens. Dim bulb, not doing much. 12 watts. Okay, we are heating the other valves of course. The filaments, it's pulling a little bit. Should have taken all the valves out, shouldn't I? Alright, let's see what we get. There's one of the plates. Oops. I've got two. Okay, I've got it on one of the plates, one of the secondaries. I've got 221. The other one says 222. Pretty good. That's pretty good. What have we got there? That's the filaments, so that's 4.55. Now we're on restricted power, so it's only putting 193 volts into it. Something's been overheating that transformer, but it seems to be working. So what we're going to do, I'll just let it run for 20 minutes or something, and no load, and well, it's got the filament still, to see what happens to it, whether the temperature comes up. While testing that transformer, I'll just quickly do the valves just to see, particularly the 6V6, and see if there's any issues with it. D, triangle, socket 2, selector 5, and 30 on the sensitivity. So I'll just check it for shorts. There's the short indicator down there. I think we're allowed a short on 7. So there's 5, 6, and 7. That's right. So switch it down to, that's testing okay. Okay, I've got a 6B6 in there now. I'll just do the shorts test again. Relay a short on number 7. That's it there. Okay, top cap's the, oh, I better do the rest. Oh, top cap. So that's testing okay. So the other two tests are for the diode, so we put it to position number 4. And that should be 100 I assume, and we read the diode scale. 4 and 5, so it's okay. It's okay. Right, I've got 6A8 in there now. We'll just do the shorts test. 7 we're allowed. Okay, so I put that on 530 on there. Let's see what we get. Perfect. Well, certainly good enough to work. Alright, so this is the 6U7. So I'll just do a shorts test. And we're allowed a short on number 7, and there it is. Okay. Now the test is on top cap at 30. I'll just down, there we go. So that one's okay as well. Okay, this is a 5Y3 in here, so I've turned the filament down to 5 volts. I'm on shorts test, and we're allowed it on 9. Oh, there's 9 there. So that's fine as well. The test is on selector 4, 40. So here we go. Not so good. and 6 for the other one. Not so good either. I've got plenty of 5x3, so we'll be right. Well, this thing's been running for probably half an hour, I guess, and it's not even warm. There's not even any temperature rise anywhere, so it's still running. It's on 230 volts. So I'm going to continue with the radio and pretend that that's okay at this stage. If it plays up later down the track, I'll maybe have to look at it then. I did put a load across those secondaries to make sure I was actually getting the 250 odd volts that it was showing before, because obviously using a digital meter you can read a voltage and won't necessarily be there. So alright, we'll continue with the rest of it now. I think it's time to tackle these capacitors, and these ones are just a mess. I'm going to change all these old waxies. They're going. The 2 electrolytics, I'll replace those. This one's still connected, which is the old aluminium cylinder cap mounted on the chassis, so I mean that's the chances of that being any good are none. So I'm going to do that. I think what I'm going to do is I'll put a little tab up. There's a screw hole there. It looks like it's had something in it. It's got a bit of damage there. I'll mount that in there, and I can just transfer that across there and support the new capacitor. These ones are so bad I don't think I'll even be able to read the values on them. Now, as far as the transformer overheating, if it isn't the actual transformer, which it appears to be okay at this stage, any one of these, there's a choke there, could be short. The output transformer could be short, or open even, overheating the 6V6. So, you know, the shorts in these electrolytic output valve coupling capacitor could be short or leaky. That'll pull the power up on these. But all those things while I'm going through, and hopefully when I've finished I can plug in the rectifier. We'll see what this transformer does. It's a pretty standard transformer, so you know, I don't think I'll have any trouble getting a replacement if it is the transformer. This will take me an hour or two or so. I'll come back. I'll turn watching me change capacitors. You can see that anywhere on YouTube. So just give me a bit of time to do that, and I'll come back with all new caps in. Well, I've spent half a morning doing this, pretty much most of the morning. So I've replaced all the caps, every one of them. I don't think I've missed any. I've changed some of the micas as well, the ones that have got high voltage on one side. After my experience on the last radio, I'm not trusting any micas anymore. There's the group of caps that I've taken out. There's 3 micas there. That's the coupling capacitor. Yeah, they're not doing too well. That one's got a split in it. One of them had wax melted out of the middle of it, so they're a mess. This capacitor here wasn't on the schematic, and I found it on the model afterwards. That put that in, so it must have been a mid-production mod to put that in. So I was struggling. I couldn't read the number on the old capacitor. I couldn't read the number on any of them. They were so wrinkled you couldn't see them. So I found that on the next model. That's just going across the choke. So what I've done now, I've put in a different 5x3 rectifier. That's going to power it up. I'm pretty confident everything's in the right place. I'm going to power it up, and we'll see what voltages we get, and we'll see what effect it has on the transformer. All the other valves are out. The only thing that's in is one globe on the for the dial. So we'll just see what we get. So I'm going to put it on. I've selected it to restricted. I haven't. So it's actually running now. I was going to say I haven't turned it on, but I have turned it on. So it takes a few seconds to come up there. Okay, so according to that, it's pulling 12 watts. It's got about 204 volts. I don't think you can see the globe, but the globes came on very dim, and it's virtually gone out, meaning there's not much current going through it. So let's go to, we've got AC volts on the meter there. We should have in there, we've got 235 on the secondary, 235 on the secondary, that's working alright. Let's go and check the filament voltage, 5.7. Now I've put it on DC. Let's see what we're getting out of the rectifier. So 237, 327. 327. I don't know what it's supposed to be because there's no information on voltages on it. And getting 327 across the choke from, yeah, that's out of the choke. It's going through the speaker windings and it's coming out here. Ooh, getting a bit of noise there, so it's looking good. 327. So the choke and the speaker are okay, the output windings. So what I'm going to do is leave that running for over an hour or so, just see what happens to that transformer. Hopefully it's okay. Perhaps it's had a leaky cap in there, electrolytic cap or something, and it's just overheated it. Actually, you can see the coupling cap's been leaking wax too. It's been getting too hot. Thought I might just check this coupling cap for fun, see what it comes up with. It's supposed to be 0.05. And it's coming up at 59 nanofarads, which is 0.04, 0.06. Yeah, no, it's not that far out, but that's not under any. Got no voltage behind it, so this has been going for about half an hour, and it's not even warm. Can't even feel it. Voltages are the same. We're on AC, yeah. So 233. 233, filament still 5.7, same as it was. Output from the rectifier is 325, so it's unrestricted power, but it's still getting 200 volts, so let's get a full power. 14 watts, we've got 360 volts. So I think I'm confident enough to put all the valves back and we'll see what happens. Okay, I've put all the valves back in the right place, even put little screens over it, and I've connected an antenna, being ever so optimistic. Now I'm going to put it on. I've got restricted power on again. We'll see what happens. I'll be very quick to hit the switch, and we've got, it's on, 11 watts, 13 watts. It's just sticking on the 13 or 14 watts. It should start going up, but it's not. Having said that, I can hear the radio. So it's only on 14 watts.
Cougar inside the furlong, leads half a length on Trudeau, out wider Owen Patrick, forwards wider again from LV, it's Trudeau kicking on the rail here, Owen Patrick laid at it, Trudeau kicking.
I should mention I freed up this little carriage here for the dial, so the tune is working.
That's a must. But you should see the method on Blu-ray if you can, if you're going to see it at home, or the big screen, because it just looks like it is just one of the greatest.
Well, it's going. Well, it's going. Okay, that's great.
Yes.
Is on the list an extraordinary.
All right, that's great. It sounds terrific. Nice big speaker on these, 8-inch speaker. That's my phone, in case you're wondering if it's your phone at home. So it's still on restricted power, so it's only pulling 14 watts. So I'm going to put it on full power. It's preset to about 240, so it'll come up at about 230, I would think.
They're clearly the top three. Matatoki open 220, now $1.90. Southern Alps finding some support as well. 280 in from 290, and Mr. Gunson $6 in from 650. Runners are on the track now, wrapping up their warm-ups, and we are 5 minutes away from the opening race.
It's got an issue with the volume. I can't turn it down.
Scratching number 5.
Yeah, so that's minimum volume. I'll have to see what's going on there. There's no heat in the transformer yet, but it's only been running for a minute or two. So I might keep it running, keep some volume on, and I'll just monitor it for the next half an hour or so, see how it goes. This has been running for about 3/4 of an hour now, and the transformer's running at about 45 degrees. The room temperature, or the rest of the chassis, is at about 27. So yeah, it's not even a 20 degree increase in temperature. So that's in Celsius. So I'm just going to check a couple of voltages. I got to change the DC. This is the plate for the output valve, 186. There's a screen, should be slightly higher, 206. That's right. The grid. Which one's the grid? Number 5 should be the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be right. It's got a resistor sitting there. And we've got nothing. So the cathode, I think, is number 8 on these, isn't it? I'll show you that one. There's a resistor there. So we've got 8 volts. So that'll be minus 8.6 there. We're comparing the grid and the cathode, so that sounds pretty good. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Now the plate on this one should be 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Okay, so the plate on that's 142. That should be 3. Number 3 plate 1, 2. Should be that one there. Yeah, 200 volts, 207. Should be the screen should be next to it. 75. This should be the plate for the mixer. Get it up there. 209. Next one should be the screen grid. Just that one there, which will be low. 75. You would think that'd be about right. Anyway, the plate and the screen seem about the right voltages, so I'll leave that. Everything seems to be about right. So, and our transformer's running cool as a cucumber. So I think the next thing to do is to pull all the bits off the top there and clean it up. The speaker's very rusty. I might even paint that one, I think. Make it look a bit nicer. It hasn't got a back on this one, so you can see right in. So I'll try and clean it up a bit, make it look a bit more presentable. I said I was going to clean this up, but I think just before I do, I'm going to just do a quick check of the alignment. So I've got a multimeter set up on the plate of the output valve with a 0.01 capacitor. And I'll just check it. I've set it at 455. We'll just get something on the meter there. And it sounds a bit, I can hear it's not clear. So there's one of the IF adjusters there, the transformer. And there's the other one. I'll do this because it's easier to do the bottom first. Not that you should do it this way, but it won't make any difference. I'll just turn the volume down a little bit. So there's the top ones, so I'll do this one first. It's the second IF. Turn down again. Let's turn down again. So I'll just go back and forward and get the about the best that I can. That's about the best that's going to get. So just have a look at the frequency meter again, and I'll just see if we are on the spot with it, just by tuning up and down until we get the peak. Don't like that squeal. That's it, 455, so that's good enough. Well, I've been trying to tune the dial on this thing for half an hour, and I couldn't do it. It wouldn't work. The adjustments were all over the place, and you make a slight adjustment and make a big difference. So I couldn't get it. I have got it now, and I spent a long time doing it. What I found was there were some little trimmer caps in the for the oscillator and the aerial, and they were just corroded out inside. There's one before I took the screw out, so they both look like that. And as I said, I couldn't get any sense out of them. They just touch them and change quite a bit or have no effect whatsoever. So I've replaced those with some other ones. So this is the type I use. This one's a far more robust style. It's encapsulated in a plastic container, and they're just easier to use. They're quite good actually. Anyway, I put those in, and I was able to tune it in pretty well. So I've got. So this station's 614, I believe. The next one should be I think it's 690 something. So that's about right. Yeah. So it's come up all right now, but it took a long time. It's 4BC, so that's pretty much in line, even at the other end of the dial. So happy with that. It was just a rough adjustment anyway. I was only just wanted to make sure everything was going to work before I started ripping it apart to clean it. It was just as well I did, because it's a very good radio. So it sounds great. I can't play those songs much. It sounds really good. Good morning. Today I'm going to try and clean all this chassis up. So I've got to try and get all the rust off the transformer, make it look nice. I'm going to take out the speaker and repaint it. Some of the valves, they're loose in their base. I'll glue them back in. One of them, I think it's this one, the nipple on the top of the grid cap there's loose. I'll have to refit that. I'll take off the IF cans and try and clean them up. I've got to replace the wire here. It's very hard. I need to replace that wire there on that grid. Clean up this capacitor and try and clean up the base here, the chassis. And I'll take the glass off. I'll try and clean that without damaging it and repaint the pointer. I may have to repaint the back plate there. I'll see how that comes up when it's pulled out. Okay, there it is. It's all back together and looking a bit better. I didn't do anything to the chassis. It's got corrosion spots on it, but I tried to keep it original-ish. But I fixed up things like the heavily rusted transformer and the speaker where the paint was just flaking off, so I had to do something with those. The shields, I repainted those as well, they were rusty. Generally, otherwise I didn't do much else, polished a few things. Changed a fair bit of wiring as well at the same time, but it had gone a bit hard. So anyway, so I've replaced all those, they're nice and flexible now. So all there is to do now is test it and see if I've put it back together properly. When I get it going, I'll just have to check the alignment again and check the dial. I changed the dial string, as you noticed. Time to give it a test. I've got it on restricted power at the moment and powered on at the mains here. I haven't switched it on at the outlet yet, just to give this meter a chance to warm up. So right, I'm going to power on, dim bulbs on. It's working okay. Pulling our 14, 15 watts. I'm not hearing anything. Oh, there it is. Okay, we'll go to full power. And 36 watts, that's about right. 38, 40, 42, 43. That's about it. So that's it.
That's fine, it's a killer. We're going to let Rolly go there. Rolly, I think it was about to say that the Viennese are happily indulgent in those sorts of things. Bring us one back, Rolly, if you can still hear a Vienna Porter. He's flogging. Tell you later. Queensland, she'll be with you in the next half hour as well. You're going to hear about boxing.
Alright, that seems to be working the same as it was before I pulled it apart, so quite happy with that. I'm going to let it run for a little while, make sure everything's okay, and as I said, I'll just do a quick alignment. I won't bother filming that, it's not worth it. Just check the alignment, and I'll have to reset this pointer again. It's obviously in a different place, and then I'm going to move on to the case, see if I can restore that. Well, here's the worst part of any radio restore, particularly with a painted case, and that's doing the paint stripping. So I've just painted with some varnish, lightweight sort of paint strip. It's designed to use on timber with varnish. I painted it all over. We went shopping, I went grocery shopping, and came back, so that took a couple of hours, and when I tried to remove it, it was just chipping off with the scraper there. It hadn't really made any effect at all, so I went and bought some decent paint stripper, and that just peeled it off pretty easily, or much easier at least. But took lots of coats, so I spent a good half a day stripping and scraping and putting more stripper on there. And but the inside just peeled off, so it was only had a couple of coats on there, I guess. Anyway, I kept working at it and eventually got it down to a point where I thought it was okay, so I just wiped off any excess with a wet rag, and then into the tub with a scourer and some soap, and just got most of it off with that, and then I changed to a steel wool with a soap pad built into it, and eventually it came up okay after quite a bit of time actually. Now the surface of the Bakelite had little imperfections where the white paint got stuck in it, so I couldn't get it out, so I ended up spraying it and rubbing it with some black gloss enamel paint and polishing it, and it got rid of most of it, so it came up pretty good actually. And some Brasso, and the two areas of damage that I showed you earlier in the video have come out alright. I cut them back with some wet and dry and some auto cut and polish, and you can't see them at all now. I'm happy it's come out alright, because I didn't want to repaint it. I wanted to leave it the Bakelite, so it looks good enough to keep it as it is, I think. I think I'm ready to put it together now. I refitted the rattan grill there. It's the original grill. I turned it around and it was very good condition on the back, so that's actually looking at what used to be the back of it. And the radio's ready, so let's put it together. How's that look on the front? Oh, it's good. That's come up nice and square. Terrific, don't have to adjust that. I'll just put some bolts in now. Well, there it is. Technico Aristocrat, or Aristocrat, whichever way you want to say it. From 1947, made by Technico in Sydney. So I think that came out pretty good. It's the case looks terrific. As I said, when they're painted, it protects the case for all these years, so it polishes up really well. Now the radio's working exceptionally well. I had an issue with the transformer, having lost a bit of wax down the bottom there from overheating, so I assumed it was components that were causing it to overheat. I've monitored it. Ran all day yesterday for 8 hours. And I didn't get over about 42 degrees Celsius, and the room temperature was about 26, so it was just warm to touch, wasn't bad at all. So I'm happy with that. I'm pretty sure that it hasn't affected it. Well, that's the end of that little project, and on the shelf with this one, and this one's a standout as far as I can see. I thought it was an ugly duck when I saw it, but it's come up really well. It's very impressive. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and if you've got any comments, I'd love to hear them. If you can subscribe, that'll be terrific as well. I'll try and do better as I go along with these things. I try to improve the video and the sound, and it's just a learning curve. I hope you'll join me next time for my next radio adventure.